Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was born in Halifax, Nova Scotia, in a place where basketball wasn't the natural path to stardom. His father, Samuel Gilgeous, was a versatile athlete who understood the value of discipline and dedication, but it was his mother, Sylvia Alexander, who instilled in him the values that would define his entire life: resilience, humility, and an unwavering work ethic. Growing up in Canada, Shai wasn't surrounded by the glamour of the NBA or the resources that many young American athletes had access to. He was surrounded by real people, real struggles, and real dreams. While other kids his age were content with mediocrity, Shai had a burning desire to prove that a boy from Halifax could compete with the best in the world. His childhood wasn't filled with luxury, it was filled with determination. Every morning before school, he would wake up early to practice on the outdoor courts, regardless of the weather. Every evening after his homework was done, he would be back on the court working on his craft. His family didn't have much, but they had something more valuable. They had faith in him. And Shai carried that faith with him like a shield, protecting him from doubt and fear. His parents taught him that obstacles were just opportunities in disguise, and that the only real failure was giving up. As Shai entered his teenage years, his talent became undeniable. He was faster, smarter, and more determined than his peers. But what set him apart wasn't just his physical abilities. It was his basketball IQ and his defensive prowess. Coaches began to notice him. Scouts started to watch him, and whispers of NBA potential began to circulate throughout Canadian basketball circles. However, Shai never let the attention go to his head. He remained grounded, focused, and hungry for more. While other talented teenagers were celebrating their achievements and resting on their laurels, Shai was in the gym, working on the smallest details of his game. He understood something that many never do. Talent is just the beginning. Excellence requires obsession. He studied film relentlessly, analyzing the movements of NBA guards, understanding their footwork, their decision-making, their defensive strategies. His high school years were marked by incredible performances, but also by moments of doubt. There were games where he didn't play well, moments where he questioned himself, times when he wondered if he was good enough to make it to the NBA. But each time he fell, he got back up stronger. Each rejection fueled his fire. Each setback became a setup for a comeback. His coaches noticed his mental toughness, the way he responded to adversity with increased determination rather than discouragement. During his final years of high school, Shai began to attract serious attention from major college programs across North America. Universities were competing for his commitment, recognizing that he had the potential to become a generational talent. But Shai was selective. He didn't just want to go to any prestigious program. He wanted to go somewhere that would challenge him, develop him, and prepare him for the NBA. He wanted to be part of a winning culture, to learn from the best coaches, and to compete against the best competition. His decision to commit to the University of Kentucky was a turning point. He knew he was entering one of the most prestigious basketball programs in America, a place where legends were made and futures were built. Playing under legendary coach John Calipari, Shai would be surrounded by elite talent and elite competition. This was no longer the Canadian leagues. This was the big stage, and Shai was ready. His time at Kentucky was transformative in ways that went beyond basketball. He played alongside future NBA stars, against the best college teams in the nation, and under a coach who had developed countless NBA players. But more importantly, he learned what it took to compete at the highest level. He learned that talent alone wasn't enough. You needed intelligence, you needed heart, and you needed an unshakable belief in yourself. He learned how to handle pressure, how to lead without being the loudest voice in the room, and how to make his teammates better. Shai's college career was marked by steady improvement and consistent excellence. He wasn't the flashiest player, but he was the most reliable. He wasn't the highest scorer, but he was the most impactful. His teammates respected him, his coaches trusted him, and scouts recognized that he had something special, a combination of skill, intelligence, and character that couldn't be taught. During his time at Kentucky, Shai also developed a reputation for his work ethic and his willingness to do the dirty work, the defense, the rebounding, the intangibles that don't always show up in the box score but make a team win. As Shai's college career progressed, the conversation around him intensified. NBA scouts were watching him closely, evaluating not just his talent, but his potential, his character, and his ability to translate his college success to the professional level. There were questions about his size, about whether he could guard bigger players, about whether his scoring would translate against NBA-level defense. But those who watched him closely saw something different. They saw a player with elite athleticism, elite basketball intelligence, and the kind of character that separates good players from great ones. Shai remained focused on his goals at Kentucky, not getting caught up in the draft talk or the speculation about where he might go. He continued to work, to improve, and to lead his team. His final season at Kentucky was one of his best, as he put together performances that left no doubt about his readiness for the NBA. He was a complete player. He could score, he could defend, he could facilitate, and he could lead. On draft night in 2018, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander heard his name called by the Phoenix Suns with the 11th overall pick. It was a moment he had dreamed about since he was a kid in Halifax, shooting hoops on outdoor courts in the cold Canadian weather. But unlike many young players who celebrate and think their work is done, Shai understood that the draft was just the beginning. The real work was about to start. His first years in the NBA were humbling in ways he hadn't anticipated. He was no longer the best player on the court. He was competing against the best players in the world, night after night. He played for the Suns, then was traded to the LA Clippers, where he finally found some stability and a clearer path to playing time. But even in these early years, Shai was learning, growing, and preparing for his moment. He wasn't getting massive minutes or putting up huge numbers, but he was doing something more important. He was developing. He was learning NBA-level defense, NBA-level speed, NBA-level competition. He was paying his dues, and he was doing it with the same humility and work ethic that had defined his entire life. His coaches appreciated his professionalism and his willingness to accept his role while continuing to work toward a larger one. During his time with the LA Clippers, Shai began to get more opportunities to play and to showcase his talents. He was learning from veteran players, studying the game at a deeper level, and understanding what it took to succeed in the NBA. The Clippers were a competitive team with championship aspirations, and Shai was part of their plans for the future. He played alongside Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, two of the best two-way players in the league, and he learned from them every single day. He learned how to defend at the highest level, how to move without the ball, how to be efficient with his scoring opportunities. His time with the Clippers was crucial to his development as a player. He was no longer just a prospect. He was becoming a real NBA player, someone who could contribute to winning basketball. His minutes increased, his confidence grew, and his impact on the game became more evident. But Shai knew that he was still just scratching the surface of his potential. He was hungry for more, hungry to be the guy, hungry to lead a team to greatness. In 2023, everything changed. Shai was traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder, and suddenly, he wasn't just a player on the roster. He was the franchise's future. He was the leader, the face of the team, the one everyone was counting on. And Shai rose to the occasion in a way that shocked the basketball world. His numbers were incredible, averaging over 30 points per game with elite defense, elite efficiency, and elite decision-making. But more than the statistics, it was his leadership that transformed the Thunder. He made his teammates better. He elevated everyone around him. He played with a maturity and intelligence that belied his years in the league. The Thunder went from being a rebuilding team to one of the most exciting and competitive teams in the NBA. And it was all because of Shai's commitment to excellence, his willingness to lead, and his refusal to accept anything less than greatness. He wasn't just playing basketball, he was building a legacy. His teammates fed off his energy, his coaches trusted his decision-making, and the fans fell in love with his game. For the first time in his career, Shai was the undisputed leader, and he embraced that responsibility with the same humility and work ethic that had defined his entire journey. As Shai's dominance continued throughout the season, the basketball world began to have a conversation it had never had before. Was he an MVP candidate? Here was a player who was putting up elite offensive numbers while also playing suffocating defense. Here was a leader who was making his entire team better. Here was a competitor who showed up in the biggest moments, when the pressure was highest and the stakes were greatest. But what made Shai's rise even more remarkable was how he handled the attention. While other players might have let the MVP talk go to their heads, Shai remained focused on one thing: winning. He didn't care about individual accolades. He cared about championships. He cared about his teammates. He cared about leaving a legacy that went beyond statistics. This was the moment when the world truly understood who Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was. He wasn't just a talented basketball player. He was a complete player, a complete leader, and a complete human being. He was everything you want in a superstar: skill, intelligence, character, and humility. The kid from Halifax had arrived on the world stage, and he was here to stay. What truly sets Shai apart from other elite athletes is who he is off the court. In an era where many athletes use their platform for self-promotion and financial gain, Shai uses his platform to inspire and uplift others. He speaks openly about mental health, about the importance of staying grounded, about the value of family and community. He's known for his loyalty to his teammates, his respect for his coaches, and his commitment to his community. He doesn't seek the spotlight. It finds him. He doesn't demand attention. He earns it through his actions and his character. In a sport often defined by egos and drama, Shai is a breath of fresh air. His story has inspired countless young athletes around the world. Kids in Canada, kids in America, kids everywhere see Shai and think, if he can do it, so can I. And his journey from Halifax to the NBA elite has become a blueprint for what's possible when you combine talent with work ethic, intelligence with humility, and ambition with character. He represents something bigger than basketball. He represents the possibility of greatness for anyone willing to work for it. Beyond his individual achievements, Shai has become a symbol of what's possible when you refuse to accept limitations. He's shown that where you come from doesn't determine where you're going. He's proven that hard work and dedication can overcome any obstacle. He's demonstrated that character and integrity are just as important as talent and skill. His influence extends far beyond the basketball court. Young athletes look to him as a role model, not just for his basketball abilities, but for the way he carries himself, the way he treats others, and the way he stays true to his values. He's become an ambassador for Canadian basketball, showing the world that great players can come from anywhere. He's become a mentor to younger players, sharing his knowledge and his experience. He's become a voice for mental health awareness, speaking openly about the challenges of being an elite athlete and the importance of taking care of your mental well-being. His impact on the game and on the world extends far beyond any individual statistic or achievement. Today, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander stands at the peak of his powers, but his story is far from over. He's still young, still hungry, still driven by the same fire that burned in that kid from Halifax. And while he hasn't yet won an NBA championship, his impact on the game and on the world extends far beyond any trophy. His legacy is being written every single day, on the court through his performances, off the court through his character, and in the hearts of millions who see him as more than just a basketball player. He's a symbol of hope, a testament to the power of perseverance, and a reminder that where you come from doesn't determine where you're going. As Shai continues his journey, one thing is certain: his story will inspire generations to come. Whether he wins championships or not, he has already achieved something far greater. He has shown the world what it means to be truly great, not just as a player, but as a human being. The best chapters of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's story are still being written, and the world is watching with bated breath to see what he'll accomplish next. His journey from Halifax to the NBA elite is a testament to the power of dreams, determination, and an unwavering belief in yourself. And that is a story that will inspire people for generations to come.